The People's Democratic Party leadership crisis may have deepened with the reinstatement of Senator Samuel Anyanwu as National Secretary, a move that has sparked reaction within the party. Acting National Chairman Ambassador Umar Damagum announced Anyanwu's reinstatement following a meeting with INEC, citing the need to abide by the electoral body's advice, especially with the upcoming FCT election. Well, joining me to discuss this, I am joined by Judge Turnah, the Zonal Secretary for the South South. He joins virtually from Abuja. Also, I have in the studio with me Amah Abraham, is the chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Abia State. Joins me live in the studio. Gentlemen, thank you for your time. All right, let me start with you, Mr. Amah. The reinstatement of Sam Anyanwu, for you as a party member, is it a welcome development?
Yes, I believe it's a very, very positive development. He was elected a member of the National Working Committee and precisely as a National Secretary sometime in 2020. And by the constitution of our party, his tenure will expire sometime December, that was 2021, sometime late this year. That is when his tenure will expire. And there were certain developments that led to a purported removal from office.
Purported?
Yes, I say purported because it did not meet the requirement of the law. It did not meet the requirement of the constitution of our party. It did not meet the requirement of the Electoral Act. It did not also meet the requirement of any law known to us as a political party. And then, ever since then, the party has suffered a kind of leadership crisis that have almost crippled the party. And because of that singular action, we have a lot of people leaving the party. So very recently, sometime last month, we had a NEC meeting, the 99 NEC, and a few decisions were taken in that NEC. And the issue of the National Secretary was not on the table. The reason being that at that time, the leadership of the party had met and put together a mediation committee headed by the former Senate President in the person of distinguished Senator Bukola Saraki, made up with other eminent members of our party. And the NEC meeting felt that it was improper for them to discuss a matter which the committee is still working on. And within this period, the committee has come out to advise, in fact, to engage with critical stakeholders in the party, amongst whom are members of the National Working Committee, members of the BOT, members of the National Assembly caucus of the party. And it became very necessary that a decision was taken for a broader engagement involving the leadership of the party and, of course, I can call them industry regulator, INEC. They are constitutionally saddled with the responsibility of managing political parties, regulating the business of political parties in Nigeria. So to engage with them. And during that engagement, they critically look at issues affecting, as it affects the electoral law. And they were rightfully advised that except if our party wants to find itself in a position where we will not be able to submit candidates for elections. Because you recall that in the past, a whole state was lost by APC just because all their candidates who won election lost that election just because the faction of the party that filed their names to INEC was not recognized by INEC. So when the matter went to court, they lost everything about that state and a PDP became a winner. So for us as a party, if we don't fix this particular problem, the consequences, number one, is that the FCT election is by the way. Who is going to communicate INEC? The electoral law is very clear. The electoral law says the chairman, the national chairman of the party, and secretary must sign any communication to INEC. So if you now have an acting national chairman and then you don't have a national secretary who is recognized by INEC, the consequences is that tomorrow that party will not be able to submit names to INEC. And the consequences is lamentable for the political party.
All right, let me leave you for a moment and bring in Judge Turnah into this conversation. Of course, acting chairman for the PDP in Abia State. Thank you for your time. If you can hear me, George, I would also put the same question to you as regards the reinstatement of Mr. Sam Anyanwu. Are you comfortable as a party member with this development?
First, I would like to correct what I think is a misnomer.
Please, if you can hear me, we are unable to hear you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Okay, please continue. Continue. We can hear you now. Please continue.
Can you hear me? Okay, all right. So yeah, so I said I would like to begin, by setting the record straight. There's nothing like reinstatement of Anyanwu. Anyanwu never lost his seat as National Secretary. As my brother have rightly laid the foundation there, Anyanwu was elected National Secretary of our party for a secure term of 4 years. And by our party's constitution, specifically, if you look at Article, let me be very clear, here, Article 33, Article 33, sub 2, 5B, it is the sole responsibility of the National Convention to elect or remove a national officer. So Anyanwu was never removed at any convention known to us from office as National Secretary. They said he resigned because he went for governorship contest. Up to this moment, there is no evidence of any resignation letter, from Anyanwu. Our party constitution does not make it compelling, neither our electoral regulation for a party officer seeking a public office to resign. Anyanwu, of course, went through screening. He was screened, he was cleared. There was no resignation letter. Now, the electoral law, the Electoral Act, requires that specifically Article Section 85 of the Electoral Act requires that for any meeting, conference, convention, or any gathering of any political party, for the purpose of electing officers of the party or removal, as the case may be, or for the purpose of electing candidates of the party for elections, or for the purpose of approving a merger, 21 days notice must be given to INEC. Why do you give that notice? You give the notice because the outcome, of course, goes beyond the confines of, in quote, what is called family affair. So if you invite INEC to monitor a national convention wherein you elect Senator Samuel Anyanwu as National Secretary, that is documented, and it is for a term of 4 years. INEC have their report, and the party will also file its report after that convention with INEC to say XYZ set of officers has been elected. So till you do otherwise, until you give another notice to INEC, or if it is in the case of resignation, until you go to file a copy of the resignation letter with INEC to say that this officer was elected, the social convention have resigned, or if it's in the case of a death, you file a notice of the death certificate and inform INEC that this officer is dead, or if it is by reason of assuming an elected office, because our constitution is also very clear that once you assume any elected office,
Mr. Turnah,
you are deemed to have resigned your office.
Okay, Mr. Turnah, if you can hear me, I would just like to bring to the fore some reservations of some of your party members, particularly members of the NWC, who have rejected this decision, arguing that Damagum actually lacks the authority to overturn the 99th NEC meeting's resolution. They insist that only the NEC can, make such decisions. How do you react to some of your party members who are, of this opinion?
Now, first is that there was never any 99th NEC meeting. We must be very clear. You see, anything put on nothing, of course, will never stand. Our constitution is very clear as to how NEC meeting can be conveyed. NEC meeting is conveyed at the instance of the national chairman, right? Or two-thirds majority of its members requesting the national chairman, to summon a NEC meeting. Now, when that is done, notice is issued by the national secretary. And notice is a condition precedent. It cannot be dispensed with. And so, if there is no valid notice for a NEC meeting, there cannot be a valid NEC meeting. So, there was never any 99 NEC meeting anywhere. Assuming that without considering that there was a 99th NEC meeting and the NEC resolved to have another meeting, the 30th. That meeting is still going to hold at the instance of the national chairman. This is the constitution. At the instance of the national chairman. So the argument put forward by those set of NWC members is of no moment, and there has no bearing insofar the condition of our party is concerned. I think they should allow us to make progress. They should allow us to make progress. Like I said in one of my interviews, I said the PDP is in a theater, bleeding, no surgeon, around. Luckily for us, surgeons arrived, as we have seen yesterday. The surgery was carried out, and the party is now recuperating. I think this process of healing requires everybody, all hands on deck to ensure that we make progress. All these crises were unnecessary. The first instance, the lifetime of this NWC, like my brother chairman there rightly noted, will come to an end by the end of this year. We're even looking at having an early convention for August. So what is the problem?
All right, we'll definitely come back to this.
Should allow us to make progress. In any case,
we'll come back to this.
I hope you are aware that a lot of the NWC members whose names are appeared on that list have started, pulling out. The national treasurer have clearly issued a statement, disassociating himself from that statement. It was earlier paraded, and they of them like that.
Okay, we'll definitely come back to this. I'm sorry, George Turnah. I'm sorry, but we need to go on a break. We need to go on a break, Mr. Turnah. When we return, we'll look into this and also the gale of defection that we're seeing across political parties. One of the worst state being the People's Democratic Party. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Many thanks for staying with us. It's still Politics HQ on News Central Television, and of course, I still have my guest with me. Well, gentlemen, thank you for staying with me. Let me come to you, Mr. Abraham. Just quickly, your take as regards this party crisis, and I would like you to also link it to the defections that we've seen within the party. We saw some governors leave PDP and move to the APC. Largely, many of them cited the internal crisis within the People's Democratic Party as one of the reasons for their defection. Just a while ago, Mr. Turnah said the PDP is like a patient bleeding on a surgery table, and right now surgeons are there to do their work. So I would like you to speak on the party's position with its current status right now ahead of 2027. Are we seeing a PDP that has been, so decimated? Do you think that your party can stand as a strong opposition given the current situation we are seeing right now?
Well, those who are responsible for sowing the seed of discord, who were responsible to orchestrate the illegal removal from office of the substantive national secretary of the party, did a lot of damage to the party. And no politician will want to be part of a political party that does not have the capacity to submit names to INEC, particularly those who want to contest election. So that singular action was hugely responsible for why we saw many defections in the party. And just as the acting chairman of Bayelsa Bayelsa chapter of our party have just said, we have come out of that. What happened yesterday was a major development in the party. And no matter the opposition, the truth is that the distinguished Senator Anyanwu remains the national secretary. And if there is a communication to move over to INEC, that communication will be signed by himself and together with the national acting national chairman. Now, having said that, I want to say that in the days ahead, as you know, in politics, they will say that 24 hours is a very long time. And I want to also add by saying that 1 month, 6 months is a century in politics. Mindful of that, I want to assure you that in the next, people will be surprised what is going to happen. There is going to be a major, a lot of people coming back to the party. And even people leaving other party to come to the party. Yes, because as of today, it is not debatable. PDP remains one party with membership cutting across, or not. We are not talking about the 36 states or federal capital territory, but cutting across every family in Nigeria.
But we're also seeing we're also seeing that what I call it expansion shrinking.
No, see, it happens. It has happened over the years. You see, while PDP held sway, we also saw people from. We also have. Don't forget, food is ready politicians. Politicians who always want to join any party in power. Business people who want to join any party in power so that their businesses will be protected, so that they will be able to secure government contracts, so that they will be able to access the national cake. We have those kind of politicians without any principles guiding them. So we have them in quantum all over the country, in all the states of the country. So for those kind of politicians, of course, I have nothing to say about them. But for the ones who are desperate on making sure that Nigeria work, the alternative platform available for such political individuals is no other party but the PDP. So PDP is going to work.
Because I was just about also asking, you seem very optimistic. I was just about to put it to you directly as to, if at all, when you will defect.
When?
You will defect.
Defect to where?
I'm asking.
No, defect to where? Where am I defecting to? You see, I am somebody who I believe in. I am a Democrat. And you see, democracy without opposition is not democracy. Democracy without opposition is not democracy. And I have been in government for several years. So as far as my political experiences are concerned, being in the opposition is a different university enrollment for me. And it is going to enrich my understanding even better. So it is a necessary It is a necessary experience which I cannot vacate myself from it. I should be able to pass through it. And so that by the time we come back to power, by God's special grace, we also correct the things we could not correct last time. Because you see, even a first-class student, a student that is seen as a first-class student in the university, the truth is that in the scale of 10, he may have secured 9, and there's one he didn't know. So for us, even where we did very, very well, we still believe that there are things we could have also done better. So for such things, staying in the opposition gives us a better opportunity to understand Nigeria.
So you're, for now, you're still a full-blooded PDP member?
Till tomorrow.
Till tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay, maybe I should throw the same question to Mr. Turnah. When will you defect? That's on the side, but where I'm actually going with this is, let's also look at the coalition that, of course, is morphing into a political party. That's the ADA, which your presidential candidate in 2023, that's in person of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, is also a strong member of this coalition, even though he still remains a member of the People's Democratic Party. I'd like you to react to that and also respond to the question of defection too, as to when you will leave the party, if at all.
Okay, let me just quickly add to what my brother chairman have said. You see, after we lost the 2015 elections, we witnessed defections like never before. It was as if the PDP had come to, everything about the PDP had come to an end, as if there was not going to be a PDP the next day. But down these 8 years, almost 12 years, down the line, here we are. We have been strong in all of the elections. We've put up a strong presence. You see, this party is a party that belongs to the Nigerian people, and I can assure you that power itself belongs to the people. It's not to the individuals that you see. Defections here normal in politics, but we have our way. We have our internal mechanisms, and we have a unique way of resolving a crisis. The only appeal I will make to our leaders, let us do away with impunity. Once we do away with impunity, PDP is, is the party to look out for. Look at how we have resolved this issue of the National Secretary that took us through needless, troubles all of this period. Now that is put to rest. The other issues, this politics, we cannot conspire amongst ourselves, but what is important is as a family, we remain very strong. Now, the issue of a coalition. Why do you want me to talk about something that is not in existence? People are struggling to register a political party. I hear that there are over 100 plus that have applied to register. And then if some say they are building a coalition, what is the coalition about?
No, why I even pose the question to you? Please, may I come in here? The reason why I pose the question to you is because part of those who are pushing for this coalition or new political party is a member of your party and, several time presidential candidate in person of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. Do you think this is some sort of blow, or do you think this would have any impact on the chances of the PDP even ahead of 2027?
They have a history. Those people concerned, leaders like the former Excellency, with all due respect, they have a history. You check his history in the party from '99, you will discover that he has a puzzle. It's a character. You just play it out. It's really not any what people should be bothered about. My concern is that we should, strengthen our internal control mechanisms. Do away with impunity. And then see how the APC. Okay, we are done with our congresses in almost all the states. Let the APC have their own party congress and then get done with that. Let's see. Let them elect their ward executives, local government, state, zone, and then have a national convention to elect their own. Now we have done all of that, and we are here. So look, the PDP remains a beautiful bride. Nobody should deceive itself. Now that we have resolved a major challenge, which is the issue, with the National Secretary, not just like my brother said, just see what will happen. Forget about those defections. Power belongs to the people. PDP remains very strong. Like I can tell you for the South South zone, where I am secretary, I can tell you that the party is strong, is solid. And of course, just like pregnancy, it takes 9 months to always show up. 2027 is not very far. We'll see how it plays out, but I can tell you that right now we are ready to go.
All right. Well, before...
And let me also just use this opportunity to quickly say a few, to express my thanks and appreciation to critical voices, who stood in the gap to ensure that we get to where we are today now, to ensure that this party, does not die away with the crisis that people, threw on us. His Excellency Chief Dr. Ian Wike, and then the G5, all of the G5 governors, and then Senator Bukola Saraki and his team, Senator Harry Saraki Dixon and all of them, McAfee and all of them, and then the chairman of the PDP Governors Forum, I give it to him, and the national acting chairman. You see, decisions like this, when you're a chief pilot and you are clearly headed for a crash, your ability to realize that, look, you are not on the right track, and then you take that dangerous, risky, unnecessary turnaround, a risky maneuvering to have a 360-degree turnaround with the craft,
all right,
to reposition on a route that is safe, to land.
Mr. Turnah
deserves kudos.
Mr. Turnah,
I did thank all of them for bringing us out of this crisis.
All right, before we wrap up, thank you so much. Let me come back to the studio. Mr. Abraham, just...
in any case, I am not leaving the party. I am not leaving the PDP.
Okay.
Not today, not tomorrow. When others were living in 2015, I resigned from a well-paying job, to help build my party. And if I've done that since 2015, I've, remained solid with this party, faithful and committed. I don't think it's today that I plan, leaving the party.
Okay,
I have no reason to leave the party.
All right, that's fantastic for you, sir. But before we wrap this up, let me come to you, Mr. Abraham, just in 30 seconds. Looking at this current administration so far, and its approach to issues, insecurity, security, the economy, and all, for you, as a member of the opposition, and even a Nigerian, how would you rate, its handling of the many issues that that Nigerians confront on a daily, particularly in the areas of the economy and security?
Well, Nigerians are being subjected into a lot of suffering. I must say this without any fear of contradiction. Reason being that the cost of goods and services is very, very high. And again, when you talk about security, I don't like what is happening in Benue State. It's not acceptable. We expect the presidency to step up their game. And on the economy too, beyond the statistics from the National Bureau of Statistics and the World Bank, IMF and the rest of them, I have a son who is currently serving. Now, from where he spends about over 50,000, 2,000 every morning to go to work, and almost 3,000 and 4,000 every morning to go to work and come back. So by the end of the day, you find out that even the so-called 77,000 means nothing to that child who is serving. And several years, I had another child who served, and at the time when they were paying, I think, 19,000. I can tell you that that person who was receiving 19,000 was having a lot of savings. So at times when you say you are giving 77,000, the question is, what is the purchasing power? What is the strength of what you are currently giving? So there are a lot of things that needs to be adjusted today. And of course, the only reason why I don't blame Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration is very simple. Because he inherited a lot of decay. The last 8 years before he came in was the worst in the history of this country. And as a good party man, maybe he has refused to speak about it. And he has also cautioned his aides not to speak against it. But that was when everything concerning Nigeria was destroyed. So if you look at what he's currently doing and what happened in that last 8 years, there is an improvement. There is a significant improvement. But the decay of the 8 years of Buhari is Nigerians are still suffering, are still passing through it. And it will take a lot of work, a lot of energy, a lot of commitment for us to be able. That is why I'm also not happy with people who are currently criticizing this government who were not able to criticize the previous government. For me, the likes of El Rufai, who are not talking about coalition, I laugh. Because, and even Amechi, they played significant role when Nigeria was destroyed in 8 years, when the insecurity went to another level, when it became clear that Nigeria is owned by a particular set of people and other people are not part of Nigeria. They did not talk, they saw nothing wrong about it. When in a place like Kaduna, there was constant killing.
So basically, what you're saying is that these individuals that you mentioned don't have the moral grounds to criticize the current administration.
They don't have, because they played a very, in the very recent confession of El Rufai, he said, I am part of those who brought about APC. So I want to work hard to make sure that I correct the ills. Something like that. You understand? So they do not have the moral ground.
All right.
They do not have.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure having you speak with us. Mr. Amah Abraham is the chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Abia State, joining me here in the studio. And also Judge Turnah joining virtually. He's the acting chairman of the PDP in Abia State, and also the Zonal Secretary of South South Zone of the PDP. Gentlemen, once again, thank you for your time. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.